All right. Well, y'all, this is our final week of this publishing prototype sprint. So I'm going to share screen. And I'm going to walk through the final goodies, and then we'll have a conversation. Let me see what happens. There we go. No, I don't want you doing that. Okay. All right. So final week, fourth week. Can you believe it? 4 weeks we've been talking about publishing stuff. So I thought I would start with, let's do a recap of the previous 3 weeks. So week 1, and also I should say, all of the recordings and decks are in the folder that I keep dropping in the Prototyping Club's chat. So you can find all the goodies there. So we talked about recording yourself to get your writing done, and then transcribing, and building your project documentation system in week 1. So that's really where to start if you're revisiting all the way at the beginning to start a project. And then in week 2, we talked about creating purposeful structure and why that matters and why it makes the whole effort easier. And then building your key elements like your table of contents and headers and things to write around and inside of. And then your flow, format, and tone, which are all things that matter for the rhythm of getting all the way through the manuscript. And then design and layout, and having AI help you with that. And then in week 3, we really talked about the formatting and choosing which platform, and therefore what kind of formatting. So that brings us up to speed of the final week 4. And today what we're going to do is talk about when you have all of that stuff done and you're ready and you've edited, then you get to hit that publish button and do all of the launch details. So these are sort of now your book's published, and what do you want to do? So first thing I want to say is obviously AI is, all of our friend. And so just asking for help from AI with building a content planning schedule, audience research, keywords, engagement tools, press kit. I'm going to go over each of these kind of a little bit more in detail. So your marketing and your visual assets. So all of these things that I'm going to jump into each one of those bullets a little bit deeper. Again, we're in an AI prototyping club, so use AI is what I'm going to say to help you through these steps. All right, so first thing is, and you can do this while you're working on your book, but you should probably be thinking about your book and, do this kind of right before you hit publish. Or thereafter, because the truth is, once you hit the publish button, if you haven't told anyone yet, you still have a little launch time that even though it might be live, you can still set all of these things up. So this kind of press release generator, obviously use AI to really design press releases. I want to talk about this for a second because press releases, big media outlets aren't going to pay any attention to your, local self-published book. So, what you want to think about is what is local. where do you already have relationships? And then write unique press releases and email communications with those individual local outlets or niche. There may be online really niche categories. So don't think about press releases ever as, oh, I'll just write one and I'm done. They don't work like that. They just do not. They are designed to be tailored for every set of eyes that you're trying to get on your information. So think about it as something that you'll have to write and rewrite and word change for every category. And so also start thinking about, if you're going to, launch a book, what are all the niche areas of folks that might be interested? And think locally, because in a lot of local communities, having a local author is very desirable and they seek folks. So reaching out will benefit win-win everybody. Start to get your part of your press kit is your bio that is related to what you have written. So we all might have multiple bios that we use, this one for work, or this one, I have lots of bios, one for teaching, one for speaking, all these different things. But when it comes to the press kit for your book, make sure you rewrite your bio to craft it around this book, whatever the content is. So it's just really important to remember all your materials are not going to be one size fits all and that you're going to have to tailor them. Make sure you create a synopsis that is included. That's a simple kind of one pager. That's just a short summary that people can grab so that they could just pull it and reprint it. And you also always want to include your book cover and things like that so that they're easy, so people don't have to ask. So your whole kit, you would want to have online. We're going to walk through that so that people can grab it really simply and have the materials. Because I will tell you, for many years, I wrote for rag local papers just to be able to write. And hey, Nate. And when you are local writing, or I also blog wrote for many years for different clients, you're always looking for content. And I will tell you, the people who get featured are the people who take the time to say, hey, here's my, press release specifically for your outfit. Here's a link which has my bio, my headshot, a summary, everything's in there. And the author can just go and grab it and print things. That's a big yes. So having all of that, as well as we talked about previous week about grabbing pull quotes from your own stuff. Just run your stuff through AI and say, grab quotes that I said in this, and then have those printed out like graphics, like we showed in the previous chunky graphics. Because if you also have those, or you even have them written out, people will pick them up, make their life easier, make their job easier, put all this together and have it easily accessible. And that's how to get featured. Okay, so having your copy ready, obviously, again, have AI help you with this. As soon as your book is done, make a GPT of it right away. Make a custom GPT so that you can do all these things by just asking the custom GPT. Have it make social media captions for posts for a month or 90 days. Have it write email campaigns, taglines, slogans, different copy for all of the different, if you're considering any paid ads, have AI do all of it. And it's even easier if you use your manuscript and any other interviews or materials with you, put it all into a custom GPT. And then all of this is like a quick turn, and then you have it just done and ready, because you're going to need all of these kind of things for any kind of book launch you're going to do. Okay. Same thing with thinking about your visual assets, having scripts ready and having videos ready from in your same folder that you're going to send out to folks who might be willing to have you on a podcast or invite you as a guest to local activities and events. If you have different video trailers, you can have a 30-second, a 2-minute, maybe a longer interview with someone, and it's just sitting there and they can see your personality and that you can handle being interviewed, being on camera. They are more likely to book you in to talk about your book because they can already see that, you know, you can handle that kind of environment. So having those little video clips that you can just do yourself, have a friend get on and interview you like you're podcasting. You don't have to wait until you have a real one. Just make one. And then having a deck ready, so that same thing, like if you got invited to speak or something like that, and not a deck with a bunch of info, but just visually interesting related to what it is you're trying to talk about. And then work with Canva or whatever else you do, whatever else you're making. What I meant by that is whatever else you do, if you don't use Canva, whatever program you use, I just put Canva because it seems easiest for most people. But make additional things like those quote graphics I mentioned and bookmarks and, you know, stickers, banners. Have all of this at the ready and prepped so that if you do get invited, you can just go to your local print shop really quick and have some things made for if you get invited to a local bookshop. While you have downtime, go through these lists and just have all these things in your folder, because if you spontaneously get asked, even if it's virtual, if you have giveaway goodies that you can just say, oh, here's goodies you can download. People love it. So, you know, throwing that in it has a lot of value for folks. All right. Now you want to really do some planning. If you want to have a long range activity around your book, get the calendar out and work with AI. And again, if you have that GPT made, or you just or if you're using something else, whatever version you're using, you have your book in, have it walk through, because of course, beautifully, it'll sort it out over 8 or 12 weeks. It'll give you all these different ideas. Let it do the work, and then you move it around, tweak it, and edit it to your level of comfort, of course. Same thing with if you are going week by week and having it do this kind of calendar launch ideas, have it also pre-do blog and articles, and then all you have to do is go in and edit them, and they're ready. So I would do, for every week, have kind of a theme from your book, and, you know, have those ready for Medium, LinkedIn, or Substack, or wherever you are interested in posting. And then this one is a really cool one too, that I know lots of people who interview folks for podcasts and things like that really appreciate, which is if you could take your book and pre-generate interview questions. And then if you get asked and people say, oh, is there anything in particular that you want me to ask you, or that might be interesting for my audience, you could send them a list of 10 Q&As that you feel like really highlight. Because again, the easier you can make it for somebody writing or somebody inviting you to any kind of interview, you're going to get picked. If you send them a list of 10 key questions that you're going to be a dynamo on answering, that's going to be impressive and they're going to pick you. So just having this stuff prepped, or do it as soon as you hit the button of publish. That way your book's ready. But whatever your rhythm is, this stuff's really important to get you more attention. Okay. So the other thing, really thinking about, you know, who's your audience. So it might be fun to also have AI again, take your book and say, generate personas of potential readers, target audience who are likely to benefit from reading this, and then work with that, edit it, and create those real personas so that you're thinking about, okay, I'm targeting this person, these people, because that will help you then get really focused on these keywords that you're going to want to have to promote your book more than anything. It's hard to get at keywords, honestly, if you don't know who you're targeting. You can pull the keywords from your book, of course. That's the Amazon part. But as you're moving into other locations, your website, social media, you're going to need more than just those 7 keywords that you initially came up with. And then ask, since most of the models can now do pretty good deep reasoning, use them to that benefit and have them do competitor analysis, have them do research of, other books like yours and learn from that, and then promote according to that. I mean, this is the time, if ever, to, work on promoting your own book. And then think about, do you want to build a chat bot? Do you want that custom GPT that you built with the book to be public? Then put that out, put it on your website, put it on your LinkedIn. And then, build other tools like the quiz, poll generators, other themed things that people can play with, have fun, get connected, and you drive them back to, what are you trying to do? Sell a book, or get a talk or a workshop, or whatever your goal is. And then once you have pressed that publish button, you want to have a game plan for checking back in and visiting reviews. And if people leave you reviews also on other sites like social media, engage with them, reply, try to have them tell other people. And then listen to the recommendations too. If folks are giving you thoughts, take note of those, create those back into your system. And here's the thing that I said before, but I'm going to say again, because it's our final week. If you hit the publish button and your book is now live, if you find a typo, if people say something's wrong in chapter 8, if you change your mind, you want to change or add something, it is so easy. Fix it wherever it is, either a PDF or Word, and then go back into KDP with any corrections or changes, and just insert the new manuscript or the new cover, or both if you need to, one or the other, and hit publish again, and no one will be the wiser, except for the people who ordered the book at first if they told you there were problems or something. But if you load it and then you receive a copy and you go through it and you don't tell anybody, you then have time to make any corrections, upload again. It doesn't change anything. It's the same book. You can do that. Yes, question. Who has a question? It says someone, but I'm on a different screen, so ask away, whoever's question. Oh, shoot, it says join the call. Oh, hold on. I got to go to the other screen. Sorry, guys. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. All right. So let's go to the next one. All right. So the other thing that you're going to want to do as you're in the promotion phase is build your author platform and presence. So one thing you can do is build a really simple author website that's just kind of a splash page with a link to wherever you're selling your book, whichever platform you chose. You can keep it really simple. The other thing you want to do is set up your author page. So if you're using Amazon KDP, I'll show you that on the next screen, what that looks like. And Amazon and Goodreads are co-owned. So if you do end up publishing on KDP Amazon, make sure to head over to Goodreads as well. Once it's published, you can't do it in advance, but once it's published, you put in your name and the book title and all of that, and they'll find it and they will link you as an author so that you can have a profile over there as well. So once you have an author profile, it makes it easier to put things on stories and social media. And you also might want to consider having a newsletter if you feel like you're going to be really active in this space. You can, like MailChimp or any of those things, can just send out these auto newsletters, which again, you can have AI completely help you with that and do that. It's barely a lift anymore if you're wanting to do that. So this is my KDP author page, just so you could see kind of visually what it looks like. You have to set this up so it's not something that is auto created. So once you are published and it's your name, then you can go in and set up your profile picture, your name, and then put in your bio information. And then the more books you publish, you can see there over here on the right, your books start to show up the more you have. And then I also wanted to mention, so this book right here, AI Futures, that's co-authored with other folks. That was the first book that we really ran through prototyping before prototyping was a club. And I wanted to take a moment to highlight a detail about that. If you are writing the book with co-authors, there always has to be an initiating author, and then a primary second author will show up. But as soon as you have more than 2 authors, you can have them all on, of course, but they show up a little bit different. And so you have to kind of even more so be a team when you're publishing if you're going to have co-authors, because whoever is the lead author and whoever is publishing is going to have to give permission to the other authors for them to link the book to their author page. So in the example of the AI Futures, Kyle, Shannon, and myself were the lead authors just because that's the way it worked out, because you just have to pick 2. And in order for the other authors, there were 7, the other 5 to be able to link back, I received a notification from Amazon that said, are these in fact the authors that should be linked? And I had to say, yes, they are. So I just want to give you a heads up that if that's something that you're doing co-authorship, someone will have to be the main person. Not that it shows up necessarily visually like that on Amazon. It's just you have to take more of a responsibility. So know that who's ever going to put their name in first are going to have to approve anyone else. So just an important little thing I wanted to add, just so you had some awareness. All right. So we talked about developing your press kit with your bio and your book synopsis, your headshot, high resolution of the cover. Make sure you have a link or a QR code with you at all times so that if you run into anyone, meet anyone. I actually have, when I travel, I have a laminated QR code that I literally just keep in my wallet because, and the reason I do that now is because a few times I've been at conferences or talks or things, and my phone died. I know, bad habit, but it happens. And I couldn't pull up my stuff for people to QR code. So I just keep this little laminated in my wallet with me now so that anyone can go to my author page or my link tree. Just a little tip. But get all that stuff when you're ready for promotion into like a Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever it is you use with that link or QR ready, so that, like I said, the easier you make it, the more likely you are to get featured, covered, asked, interviewed, etc. And then once you have all of these materials and they're in a location that's shareable, start reaching out. Reach out to bloggers, writers, podcast hosts, like I said, local media, local locations, to get any kind of interviews and features, because the more of that kind of stuff, even if it's localized, helps generate interest. And again, your goal may not be to sell the books. It might be to get talks or workshops, or, maybe you have a whole nother company. But if you get hype over here around the book, it will transition into whatever it is you're actually trying to put the eyes on. So, get after that. Be generous with local libraries, bookstores, do readings anywhere you can, anywhere appropriate. Host virtual things, webinars, anything that makes sense. And the other thing is, if you have a simple website and you can put a calendar on it, you can put your countdown to appearances, events, giveaways, things like that on there as well, and kind of promote that, push people to there. And then again, if you decide to do some kind of email campaign with, any of the services that are out there, it's just now you don't have to do as much work to figure all this stuff out with AI. And if you have a custom GPT, all of this, you can just say, do this for me, and then ship it out. Okay. So now you go live, your book's where it is. And we're going to start doing a big media push. The other thing to mention here is encourage other people to post on social media with a hashtag and a link back to you. And this is even great if you have friends around the country. So down in the last line there under media push is send advance copies. Send your friends PDF copies, and then send them the cover and have them promote for you on their social media if they're willing as well too, or write little reviews. Start with people who know you, and then it will grow from there. All right, so here's some webinar workshop strategies just to really think about as options. So hosting a webinar, it can be short, 30 minutes, and you can just, the beauty of a webinar is you can say it's happening, and then it doesn't even matter how many people show up, because then it's recorded, and then you can put that somewhere, even on YouTube. And you look like a pro because you hosted a webinar. Nobody even knows how many people showed up, because you can remove all of that, of course. And you can even act like you have Q&A, or, oh, it was sent to you in advance and I'm going to read it out loud. And it's some of those same Q&A questions that you did the list of 10 earlier. So all this stuff is multi-purpose. And then if you can have something locally, do a live workshop. Give it away for free. Have somebody on your team who cares about you, family member, friend, show up, take pictures of you leading the workshop. And even if it's free, then you can post all of that stuff. And then other people can see, oh, I could hire this person for a workshop. Or, next one down, a panel discussion, have a roundtable, have a fireside chat. record it. So then people can see, oh, I could invite this person in to be a speaker, to come and do a talk as part of a conference or anything like that. So don't wait is the point until you're asked. Just set it up now. Have AI build all these scripts for you. Do things in each of these categories, one of each for free for people who are willing to show up. Record it all, and then you can put that out as an example, because the thing is, you don't need to show like 10 different activities. Just show you're capable of this one that you're trying to achieve, that you're using your book for, a workshop, a talk, whatever it is. And then think about a book club. Is there a community? Is there a group who would be delighted to receive your book, even if it's digitally, even if you don't have the cash to send everybody, mail everybody copies, send them all PDFs, and then have them have their book club, and then you come in on it, answer questions, be a part of it in any way you want. You know, maybe there's a fee, but maybe you do, again, this list of 4 on the screen right now, you could do one of each for free, and then have visuals of it, and then have prices underneath for next time that someone else could bring you in, just as ideas, just things to think about if you're trying to achieve something beyond your book. And then if you want to get fun, I put some advanced strategy thoughts here, like guerrilla marketing ideas. You know, you could put QR code, you could run scavenger hunts if appropriate to your book. I put festival giveaways because when I was at South by Southwest, there was a guy there who was everywhere. He had these little white pickup trucks and teams of people in white like bib overalls. And everywhere, everyone was just handing out his book for free. Everywhere. And you would see his book in everyone's hands or in their bags or sitting on tables. That book was everywhere. I have no idea what it cost him to print thousands like that, but it definitely made a visual impact across the festival, because everyone started to talk about it and go, oh, you got one too. I mean, it was like, it was totally guerrilla takeover. Pop-up reading rooms are really fun. That's a fun, kind of goes with the next one, which is collaborations and partnerships. So something to think about, what I was thinking when I put pop-up reading rooms is, if you have a theme around your book, it could be really fun to partner with, you know, a game, those restaurants that are like board games now, you know, particular coffee shops or cupcake shops or whatever, and ask them to kind of turn it into a reading space. So it's more than you just giving a reading, but people are invited to come and read and connect. And it could be authors, it could be your target audience, but just interesting other ideas for how you as an author could get noticed really is the idea here. And then just to say, after you feel like it's been a minute and you've pushed and pushed as far as you can, then you want to think about, how do you want to use this further? Can you get more mileage out of it? So pay attention to reviews on the platforms you posted on, engage with reviewers, get feedback, see what you can do with that information, and then push out if you have received testimonials or other quotes. Now that you have more images and photos from activities and events that you did beyond, maybe get back at those, use those again. And then once you've kind of exhausted all the free stuff, it might be time to think about, do you want to do some paid advertising and see if you can keep the momentum going? And then really it's just constantly refining and deciding, do you want to have more legs to this? Do you want to keep pushing with it? Because there's always an energy that, you know, thrives and then kind of dies out. And if you still want to use your book to get more speaking gigs and things like that, then you got to keep extracting from it new ideas, keep going back into AI. Maybe you start to make more videos. Maybe you start to, do more of your own audio, but that can all come. I would have a game plan for it to keep just pushing and promoting as long as you need the book for what it is you're trying to achieve, I think. That's it. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing. Questions, comments, ideas, thoughts, anything. Jeannie, please.
Oh, hi. Really good stuff. This is wonderfully done. I wonder if I'm going to come in here. Am I here?
Sort of.
I'm coming. No, I'm not coming. All right. Well,
you're a little ghosty. It's okay.
My thought was, I love that you do the GPTs, and I think my thought process is you create one GPT and configure it so that it goes public and it runs within the parameters of the book, and then do another GPT that you use personally for what you need to call out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yep. I think that's a great idea. I think that what could be fun about that too is as you are doing things, let's say you speak about the book and that's recorded, you could also transcribe that and add it to the public GPT so that it gets even a little more digital twin-like, where it's the however you decide to put the book in, and then a bit of you as the author too. And then that becomes this really rich space for your audience to, I think, engage. And that's the kind of stuff that I think would lead to whatever the end game goal is, workshops or talks. So yeah, great idea. And then in your own private one, you could put your notes and other stuff that no one would ever just get to see or know about.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know for me, I have all of my books as GPTs. And some of them I do have multiple versions because I did want it to go deep, like the science ones that are the methodologies. I pulled out, like, as an example, the analysis part and made that separate because that goes so deep that it kind of needed to be separate. And I think, man, when agents really are easy coming here, we can take these custom GPTs or wherever you make them, and they can really engage with our target audience and like have a conversation about your book. Which would be really cool. Soon.
Yeah, that's really true. So then we have two tiers. So the private, the public. Is there a third tier for GPT? Deep research?
Well, the GPTs, if you can't build them on the other deep models, they build on like the default. You can call in the other models though, but I don't think it's going to matter in a minute. I feel like we're going to be talking about, remember when there were 18 models once and now there's just one? I feel like they're going to get it together and it's just going to be based on your question. It will do whichever it's good at. Like the fact that I still have to remember to hit the button that says create image when I want a really good image, instead of me being able to say create an image of, and then it's still the crappy old image because I didn't pay attention. So that kind of stuff, I think it's going to be like the old calls. God, remember, what were they like? What were those old things, like plug-in things that we used to have to call to make things happen, like read PDFs and stuff? Remember that like a year and a half ago? Yeah, I think it'll
Yeah.
all sort of blend, because I think the crazy stuff right now, we're having to touch everything and remember to ask for the key things. I think they're just pacing themselves. It'll go away, I think. Anyone else have any other thoughts or questions or ideas? Anybody going to publish something? Anyone? Anyone feeling ready yet?
Maybe soon, in a couple months. And I guess
Nice.
other projects. My one friend has these book ideas, children's book ideas, that he's been wanting to do the last couple months.
You think that might be a summer project? Get it out before Christmas.
It might be, yeah, just trying to get my desktop computer running so I could do lots of local LLM.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Selecting through AI agent to kind of do all the book related stuff and other things, but
Yeah.
working on it slowly. Maybe within the next month might be actual starting the book project.
Well, you guys will have the link. So when you're ready, you can all go back and revisit the steps if it's useful in the decks and the instructions and stuff. So
Yeah, for sure.
for you. All right. Well, that's what I have for publishing. That is all I have to offer. If anybody starts to work on a project and you want to chat about it, always ping me. I'm happy to talk about how I can help in publishing. And I think just a heads up for everyone, next week, I think what we're going to do is meet and chitter chat next week, just to chitter chat and talk about a confirmation of what we want to do for the next sprint. But then we're going to take 2 weeks off because I'm traveling on the 19th, and then the 26th is Memorial Day already. So we are going to officially begin sprinting again on the 2nd. And I'm pretty convinced that we need to do a merch sprint. So we're going to talk about that next week, and I'm going to ask people for lots of ideas so that I can prepare the best decks and all the things. So if you come next week, ooh, Jeannie, yes.
Oh, hi. I'm gonna try again, see if I'm here. Where, I don't know if you have just a minute to revisit your author page. Where did you build that?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Here, let me share screen. And then Suzanne, do you want to say something while I'm pulling this up?
Sure. 2 things. Thank you, Cindy, for a lovely session. Being I have like, I don't know, 12 plus years of publishing, I thought it covered pretty much everything that I know.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm personally going to publish something, but who knows? It's always possible.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's great. The pieces I don't know is all the Amazon stuff, all the kind of the other stuff just from my background. In theory, I know a lot of it, but all this piece I did not know. So this is great.
Cool.
And then as far as the merch piece, let me know if you need any help. I may not be as much of an expert as you on merch, but I feel pretty comfortable.
Oh, no.
So let me know what you need.
I think actually, since you've asked, I feel like I want to have you do one of the weeks of Gumroad, because you use that way more than me.
Well, I certainly can. Like I said, I wasn't doing like digital downloads, which is probably what we want to cover, but I could look into it more. But I can cover other things in terms of merch too. You know, like I said, I've used like t-shirts like Zazzle, Spreadshirt. I do Etsy. I do, all those different things.
Yeah, and I think I'm going to move more into the merch. So I want to talk about stickers and t-shirts.
I've done that too. I've gotten t-shirts and stickers. I've had t-shirts done, So I have thoughts on that, like meaning go to a place to print
Yep.
t-shirts versus like getting it done at like, you know, the Spreadshirt. So I have thoughts. So yeah, absolutely can contribute.
Cool. You'll be perfect for this. I just feel like there's a nice call for it and everybody's making cool art, and why not? Why not just we'll run the sprint. So
Yeah.
cool. Well, we'll talk about it more next week too and get lots of ideas so that I'm prepped for June 2nd and then everybody can have a couple weeks off. All right, Jeannie, so here's your question up on screen. So when you're in Amazon, you have to, when you have a book, it will, let me do one that's just mine. So when you have the book up and it says your author name right here automatically, right? When you first put a book up and you connect your name, it'll give you a chance to go through the setup. So it'll do author setup. And when you do that, then it's going to walk you through these steps to get your headshot in there. Let's kind of lift that up a little bit. And then it'll let you upload your bio. And then once you start publishing books, you can see right here, it'll just start to auto load all the books that are related to your name. So it doesn't let you do this in advance. So you just need to be ready with your headshot and your bio. And as soon as your book is published after your 72 hours, actually, I should say that. I'm not sure if I mentioned that the other day. When you publish on KDP, it'll auto say on the screen to you, okay, it's taking 72 hours. Very rarely does it actually take 72. It's more like 48, but they want to give themselves the time and space. And that's once they review everything and make sure it meets within their guidelines and all of those pieces, then you're published. Once it's live, then you can click your name and start to do the author setup. A couple of people have said that they've been able to do it in advance, but I have yet to figure that out. So if you figure it out, do let me know. Jeannie, another question. Yes.
Yes, one last question if you have time. On the copyright, when you are creating these books, did you go to the U.S. copyright government website and submit it for copyright, or did that happen through Amazon? Or did you just say, well, I own it, I published it, and it's got a date? How does that work?
Two things. So that right there, Turkey Hill Press, is an LLC. It's actually, I have an LLC called Turkey Hill Properties, which covers multiple things. And so inside every one of my books, it says copyright Turkey Hill Press. And Turkey Hill Press is an LLC. So automatically, because a company is publishing this, the rights go to the company. That's one. Number two, your ISBN acts as your copyright in this instance if it's a book that doesn't contain IP that you would be concerned about someone stealing. So if you're comfortable that, let's say this is a biography about you and your family, your ISBN should serve as enough. If, however, this is a book on your ideas around new technology and you feel like you need to copyright it, you can take the entire book, and it costs about $65, $75, and you can send it off to the copyright office, and you can also have your book copywritten. But I would only do that if you feel like there's something proprietary in it that you need to protect. Otherwise, your ISBN is theft proof enough to protect you. And also, if you're going to start doing sales of anything, you should have LLC or corporate identity. You shouldn't be taking in income under your personal name anyway. So that's a whole nother thing, but recommend that you put it under, some kind of company name, and then you just use the copyright symbol. That with your ISBN, you should be all set. Copyright office is a whole nother step, which I've also done many times before as well. And it's fairly easy. It just takes time and money. All right. Well, thanks, y'all. Let me know in the Mighty Network if you have any other questions. And this deck is already in the folder. And then once this recording is ready, I'll drop that in too. And if you want to run all the way back through, whenever you're ready, everything will be in there and it'll stay in there. Otherwise, I'll see y'all next week. We'll talk about the June sprint.
Great. Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.